만개교 사른가?
Welcome back to Channel Story Friends. This time we will tell a story about a drama entitled Connect. This drama, adapted from a webcomic, tells the story of a man named Ha Dong Soo, who is part of a new human race, called Connect. This race is a connecting creature, which cannot die, or it can also be called immortal, and tells of its adventures, to find a mysterious killer, who turns all corpses into statues, as usual, prepare snacks and sit in the most comfortable place. This drama begins by showing a young man named Ha Dong Soo, who is walking alone. On the way he is suddenly kidnapped by a group of thugs. Dong Soo, who fainted, was then operated on by a surgeon. His body was cut open, then his internal organs and both eyes were also removed. When the pieces of his body were thrown away by the doctor, this is what happened. Luckily all of that was just a dream. Dong Soo was classified in the human race called Connect, where he could never die, and if he was injured the wound would heal in an instant. Thanks to his special feature, Dong Soo managed to escape from the surgeon, even though one of his eyes left there. One morning, the people were shocked by a statue of art, which was on the side of the road. Many of them were amazed, so they also took a portrait of the statue. Who would have thought that the work of art they thought was a statue turned out to be the corpse of a woman, a murderer. A psychopath has the heart to kill a woman's life, skin her body, and make it look like a statue. He even openly writes an identification tag on the woman's body, written plural. Then the scene switches to showing Dong Soo, who is playing his guitar. When he suddenly felt pain in one of his missing eyes, he seemed to have a vision from his missing eye. That means one of Dong Soo's eyes might be in someone else's body. In his vision, Dong Soo saw a horoscope display, with the exact same symbol as written on the body the murder victim. Since then, Dong Soo started looking for one of his eyes, and he realized that that eye was now owned by a psychopathic killer. To this day there have been 2 murder victims committed by OT. The concept is the same, so the police are confused. After tracing the identities of the 2 victims they have no relationship at all, so it can be concluded that Place killed them randomly. The next day Dong Soo was seen working in a junk factory, owned by an elderly couple. At that time the grandfather was seen being harassed by 3 naughty children. Dong Soo, who felt sorry for finally helping the grandfather, finally the 3 children beat Dong Soo, and cut off one of his ears. They were very surprised to see Dong Soo's eyes that were no longer there, and calling Dong Soo a monster. That title made Dong Soo sad and angry. Since childhood he was shunned by all his friends, because of the special things he had. At night, Dong Soo again met the thugs who had kidnapped him. Of course, the thugs were even more excited, chasing after Dong Soo, because they now knew what privileges Dong Soo had, and they tried to run away, until finally Dong Soo was rescued by a woman who wrote novels about Connect. He had been looking for Connect for a long time, and now he wanted to prove it himself to Dong Soo. Casually, the woman cut off Dong Soo's leg, and threw it down.
Welcome.
At the same time, we are shown Place, who has just found his next victim. Who would have thought? The psychopath killer turned out to be an exemplary employee at the office, and named Oh Jin Seob. In the office, Jin Seob had a co-worker, who seemed to be interested in him, named Lee Sun-hee. When he was talking with Sun-hee, one of Jin's eyes, Seob, suddenly got sick, so Dong Soo could see what Jin Seob was seeing. Apparently this condition occurred when Jin Seob heard Dong Soo's song. It was as if one of his eyes was responding to the sound. Because of this, Dong Soo could get a little clue as to who the person was using his eyes at this time. Dong Soo then went to Jin Seob's office. There, Dong Soo recognized Sun-hee's face, so he asked a few things. To him, unexpectedly, Sun-hee was actually afraid of Dong Soo, because he accidentally saw his missing eye. He and his friend even thought, if Dong Soo was a bad person. Even so, Dong still didn't give up. He was determined to do anything in order to find his eyes. In his memory, Dong Soo had seen Jin Seob looking at the horoscope picture. With that clue, Dong Soo went to meet an astrologer to find out the meaning of the picture. The fortune teller then said, the OT symbol means planet Pluto. There is something special from this planet, where in some time, planet Pluto and planet Venus will be in a parallel line, or it can be called a conjunction. After listening to that, Dong Soo also realized that Jin Seob took advantage of conjunction times to finish off his victims, where the next murder will take place on December 25th, and ends on January 6th. On December 24th, Jin Seob is seen drawing the faces of a woman in his sketchbook. The book does indeed contain sketches of the victims, which the genie turns into art soap. When he was focused on drawing, Sun-hee suddenly came to his house. Sun-hee finally expressed his feelings for Jin Seob, and hoped that they could get closer to each other. At the same time, the fortune teller reported Dong Soo's arrival to Detective Choi. This of course made Detective Choi suspicious that the real murderer was Dong Soo. Moreover, he was often seen around the victim's location. Meanwhile, at Jin Seob's house, Sun-hee looked curious about what was in his office. In there he was shocked, because he found a corpse art sketchbook containing victims who had been killed by Jin Seob. The next day, on December 25th, the corpse statue was found again. Sun-hee, who saw the news, immediately remembered the sketch of the corpse that exactly the same as in Jin Seob's sketchbook. At the same time, Dong Soo is seen at the location of the murder victim. When he arrives there, he meets thugs who are targeting him. A chase finally takes place, with several police sent to follow them. Luckily, Dong Soo was again rescued by the woman who wrote the novel, known as Choi Arang. Arriving at the office, Sun-hee took Jin Seob to the office rooftop, and asked for help from one of her co-workers to supervise. She then asked about the sketchbook to Jin Seob. Even though at first Jin Seob tried to cover it all up, in the end Jin Seob was forced to act immediately. When he found out that someone else heard them, Jin Seob immediately threw him from the top floor. Everything that was done by Jin Seob turned out to be seen by Dong Soo. Only after that, he also killed Sun-hee. Dong Soo was very angry to see what Jin Seob was doing, so he immediately went into the office to arrest him. At that time, Dong Soo saw Jin Seob going into the toilet, so he immediately followed him. Jin Seob Yong was angry, finally stabbed Dong Soo's hand, but it was useless. He had not yet had the chance to see the face of the psychopathic killer. Dong Soo was first arrested by the police, who suspected him of being a murderer. When Dong Soo was about to be taken to the police station, he was rescued again by Arang, so he was finally released. On the other hand, the police then checked the CCTV to prove their accusations against Dong Soo. From the CCTV evidence, Dong Soo and Arang were seen going inside together. the office, after the death of Sun He and his partner, which means that they weren't the culprits. After that, Dong Soo also invited Orang to his house. That's where Orang told him the reason why he was looking for everything about Connect. In the past he was almost hit by a truck, but he was rescued by a Connect. Since then he was looking for the whereabouts of Connect, to thank him for saving him. Orang also confessed he got information about Dong Soo after recording the conversation of the thugs at his base. Dong Soo then told Orang about his connection with a psychopathic killer on the loose lately. He desperately wants to catch the killer and take back his eyes. Now Jin Seob or Dong Soo finally realized that his eyes were responding to the voice of Dong Soo, the sound of a song composed by Dong Soo that he uploaded on YouTube. It turns out that many people are interested in the song, so a music producer is trying to find the singer and composer of the song. In his headquarters, the thugs began to find out information about Jin Seob, because he had the eyes of a Connect. While they were discussing, they also found a voice recorder, which had been hidden by Orang. This made them very angry, because Orang had dared recording their conversation all this time. At the same time, Dong Soo's eyes were connected again. At that time, Jin Seob did it on purpose, so that Dong Soo could see the sketch he made, where he was drawing Dong Soo's face. With the writing he would find it soon. Besides that, Jin Seob also deliberately showed the next murder plan, where the victims of this time's murder were 3 daughters. At night, Dong Soo heard the voice of a street singer who was singing his song at that time. When he connected, he realized that Jin Seob was in the distance. Noticed it, he immediately chased Jin Seob's car, but instead he was caught by the police, and Series Connect Part 1 was finally finished. If friends like this series, please comment as much as possible, so I'm even more excited to make a better Part 2.